Hi everyone. Today we're going to be using the image trace in Easel to do this project. I'm not using Inkscape. I'm not using anything but the Easel software that's a free software from Inventables. And we're going to be making a vinyl coaster using this image. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open up Google Images, and we're going to type in a crawfish. And I want to do this with clip art. And I'm going to go ahead and choose the tools. And I want to be able to do black and white. And there we have quite a few images to be able to choose from. And I want to be able to do something with the line art. And I kind of like this little guy right here. Okay, he looks really good. So I'm going to go ahead and save this image. And I'm going to type this in as a crawfish. And right now this is in JPEG, and that is fine. So I'm going to save him. Now I can close this. Okay, I'm going to select the file to upload. And I saved it over on my desktop. So I'm going to click that, and there it is. And I'm going to go ahead and open that image. And we'll upload that. And it'll appear right there. Now, we have several different options. And I can change these values, and we can take a look and see what happens. It started out at 30, brought it up to 49. It makes it where you can see the background a little bit better. And I don't want the background showing. So let's lower it down and see how that washes it out at setting of 15 or 14. I'm going to bring this back up to 30. And that actually looks pretty good. This is 32. I can also manually change it, put in 30. We can also do a smoothing. This is at 0.5. Let's show it at 1.0. If we do this at 2, it actually looks really good. Let's import that in. And I also can invert it if I wish. And now you can see how the color, everything would be removed here. And the lines would be white. We don't want that. We want to keep it where it'll carve out the lines. Let's see what happens if we select the trace outline. And then we can see just this part. Alright, we're going to go ahead and leave that off. We're going to use this image. We'll import that into it. It's selected. Let's open this up a little bit more. We have to be able to get this to fit into our square. I still need to be able to open this up a little bit more. There we go. Okay, we'll center that to the material by doing the edit, center to material. Okay, the next thing that I want to do is add my circle around it as I had done before. So we're going to go up and select a circle. And the circle that I want is going to be 3.5 inches. So I'm going to lock this. I'm going to put in 3.5, and that gives me my circle. The other thing that I want to do is cut this as an outline, and I'm going to do this on path. Selected now. I can come over here and select again my edit menu and put down center to the material. Now, what we can see is my crawfish is still a little bit large. So I'm going to take my circle. Let's move my circle out of the way. Let's take my crawfish now. And the reason I'm doing this so carefully, if you'll recall, that I didn't pick up earlier. So we're going to reduce that down. And then we'll bring the circle back into it. There we go. Now that's looking much better. So let's get all of this now centered of the material. Now look, that actually looks quite nice. Okay, now what's the depth of my circle? My circle is 0.1, and that actually is way too deep. So I want to reduce that as well. We can just slide the bar up to here. Okay, or I can go ahead and put this. I think I'm going to make this at 0.04. Okay, just slightly deeper. Alright, so there's a completed image. And this was done completely in Easel. I didn't take this little image over to Inkscape, and I didn't do anything with it there. So let's see how this carves using a JPEG file that was imported into Easel, and all the work was done right here in Easel. Let's go carve this. And if you'll recall, we did this with a 0.015 bit. And what I'm going to do is I want to see what it looks like if I carve this with the vbit. Now I do want to check one more thing. I want to change my depth. I don't want it to be that deep. We're going to bring this up to about 0.06 for my depth. Okay, and let's change to see what it's going to look like with a vbit 90 degree. We'll generate our detail preview. And that's what it will look like. Okay, these lines are going to be fairly light and shallow because of the type of drawing that we have. This is going to be the same line as we had when I did the fleur-de-lis. Let's go ahead and carve this and see what it's going to do. I don't want to use the Pro, so I'm going to go ahead and change this bit to other. And what I had used before was the 0.015, and we're going to do that again with my depth at 0.06 inches, and that will give me this type of look. Alright, let's go ahead and carve this. Now I went ahead and secured the material on the x-carve, and I'm using 2 bump stops, and I'm also using 2 of the clamps. The reason I'm doing that is I do want to make this as a production run and make a set of the coasters. And to be able to do that, the bump stops will hold it in place. The clamps will keep it nice and secure when carving. I have the XY axis set for the center of the material. I've carved a lot of the different vinyl floor samples, and one of the things that I have noticed is the hardness of the material does vary. This particular one is actually quite soft. So what I did is actually change the settings from what I said earlier in the video. So for this one I started with a depth of 0.03, and I did the cut. And then I came back and added another 100th of a point. So it was 0.04 to be able to cut as a finishing pass. And that gave the best results for this particular floor sample. And now what's real nice about having this set up with the bump stops is I can simply remove these 2 clamps, remove my work, drop in my next piece, put the clamps back in place, and I'm ready to carve again. The only thing that I have to do is set the Z probe. The XY axis is already set. So we have that now in place. I can hit carve and continue on. Now this is the first one coming off of the machine, and the only thing that I'm having to do is take a little toothbrush and brush off a little bit of the fuzzies, but it's not bad at all. And that's what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one painted while the next one is being carved. What I'm using to paint this today is just the acrylic black paint. And I get this from various places. You can get it from Walmart, you can get it from Michael's, you can get it from Hobby Lobby. But these are just the inexpensive paints. And all I'm going to do is just paint this in. I'm really not caring about the outline. And I've done this technique before. And I'll put a link to those videos as well, showing how that I finished the other vinyl. Now one of the things that you're going to find is when you use different vinyl, they will cut differently. Now I've cut several of these with this particular style, and this was the rigid core luxury vinyl flooring sample that I had picked up from Home Depot. And this does cut us a little bit softer material. So one of the things that I did in experimenting is I did change to go with a 60-degree bit instead of the 90. And I used the cut depth instead of 0.04. I went ahead and cut it at 0.03. And then I came back with a finishing cut where I dropped the finish down to the 0.04. And that gave a very nice finish. Like you saw, the only thing that I really had to do was just touch it up with a toothbrush, and it cleaned it up nicely. So there is a little bit of experimentation with the various floor samples, especially in the vinyl. And what I would do is just give it a try, see how you like it, and I think it'll be a very enjoyable project. I'm going to go ahead and finish this, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like when I'm done. Okay, I've got it all painted now. I'm just going to take some water and wipe this off. Now because the vinyl is porous, you are going to get some paint into the cracks around the rest of the vinyl, and that's okay. It just adds a little bit of depth and color to the whole tile. And again, this one, compared to the other vinyl samples that I have used before, retains less of that paint. Okay, let me bring this up where you can see it up close.